Today on Spotlight on Sports and Weber State News, the men's basketball team welcomes ESPN to the D. Wildcat sharpshooter Scott Bamforth opens up about his difficult upbringing. And it's hard to believe, but spring sports are underway. All that and more right now on Weber State News and Spotlight on Sports. Welcome to Weber State News and Spotlight on Sports. I'm Trevor Amicone. The Weber State men's basketball team took a break from Big Sky Conference play and welcomed Texas Arlington to the D Event Center on Saturday night for ESPN's Bracket Buster game. It was senior night at the D, and here two seniors hook up early. Darren Mahoney finds Kyle Bullinger in the corner for three. Then Jordan Richardson finds Mahoney under the hoop for the reverse layup. Those were Mahoney's only 2 points of the game, but he led everybody with 13 rebounds, 10 of which in the first half. Here, Jalon Wheelwright finds Damian Lillard on the fast break for the almost alley-oop. Here, as we watch it again, it looks like Lillard jumped just a little bit too late for the dunk, but he finishes with the layup. Scott Bamforth now let's begin the three-point shooting montage for Scotty B. He hit 3 in a row at one point for the Wildcats. During one stretch, he had 4 of 5 Weber State field goals were Scott Bamforth three-pointers. He led all scorers in this one with 19 points. Then Damian Lillard says, I want part of the three-point action. He hits one there. The Wildcats had 14 three-pointers in this game. They did shoot 34 of them. Here, this play almost brought down the house as Wheelwright steals it away from the Mavericks, then leaves it behind for Lillard, who slams it home. Here it's going to be coming right into your living room as Wheelwright steals it and once again leaves it for the trailer Lillard. And Lillard pretty excited about that play. So were the Wildcat fans at the D. That put the Wildcats up 16, but Texas Arlington came back to make it 72-70 when this happened. This shot right here by the Mavericks would have won it, but it comes up just short. The Wildcats hang on senior night. Their senior Kyle Bullinger celebrates the win in what could be his final game at the D Event Center. Weber State wins it 72-70. Scott Bamforth led all scorers with 19. Damian Lillard 17 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, and Darren Mahoney led everybody in this one with 13 rebounds. After the win over the Mavericks, the Wildcats now move back into Big Sky Conference play on Thursday night at Northern Colorado at 7 o'clock. So that begs the question, with the season nearing its end, what do the Wildcats have to do to host the Big Sky Conference tournament? So here's what the conference picture looks like. In order to host the conference tournament, Weber State has to win the regular season title. As you see right now, the Wildcats sit at 13-1, a half game ahead of Montana. Montana will make that game up this week because they play one more game than Weber State does. So most likely, both teams will end up 14-1 before they play each other on Tuesday night. If that's the case, the winner of that game will win the regular season conference title and thus host the conference tournament on March 6th and 7th. Keep in mind that the Wildcats make the NCAA tournament. For them to make the NCAA tournament, they must win the Big Sky Conference tournament, so hosting is crucial. Also crucial for the Wildcats' success is the effectiveness of junior Scott Bamforth. Bamforth, a shooting guard, is known around the West for just that, shooting. He is one of the best shooters in college basketball, but Bamforth's shooting percentage is just half the story. Bamforth's story is one of perseverance and determination. Both his parents died while Scott was young. I sat down with Scott and asked him what motivated him to overcome those tragedies.
Well, as growing up, you know, losing my dad was really hard, you know what I mean, and then going to right and losing my mom. But I used that pain and suffering that I went through, and I really just put it on the basketball court. And I really just, when I was hurting or, you know, I missed him or something, I would just go shoot and go work out. And that basketball is the only thing that got my mind loose, away from all the pain and suffering I was going through. So. I would say that was my motivation. And then now, you know, I got a wife and son, so, you know, when I see my son, I'm just like, I can't wait till he's a little bit older so he can see me play. But yeah, I kind of use them as motivation now. You know, I still use my parents as motivation, but I use them as motivation now because I want to do it for them and I want to be successful so I can support them. throughout their whole life, so my wife doesn't ever have to work and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I just use that as motivation, and I just try to stay focused. But yeah, I mean, just all the pain and hurt I went through, that was my motivation to be a better basketball player.
So your advice for someone who may be watching, who's going through similar setbacks, who is struggling but trying to overcome those types of things, what advice would you give them?
Man, it's hard. It's hard. I know what I went through was hard. It was tough. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself, but it was tough. At times it was really hard to get through, but I had a lot of people, you know, help me in my life. It wasn't, I just didn't do it myself. I had all kinds of family, you know, that was there for me all the time. But I would say my advice is use that pain and suffering you're going through to put it into something that is going to make you successful, whether it's basketball or anything in life. You know, just use that pain to give you energy, you know what I mean, to do something successful and make something of yourself. So.
Bamforth is the Wildcats' second leading scorer, and his play will be critical to the Wildcats' success as the calendar flips to March. For the entire inspiring interview, go to the Signpost YouTube channel. Just search WSU Signpost, all one word. So now to weather. Spring seems like it's in the air, but it's Utah, so who knows. Morgan Breesmaster does have the forecast for us.
Thank you, Trevor. As you see with the Utah forecast, more in the northern part of the state, we see some light precipitation, possibly some scattering of snow. In Nevada, we see maybe a little bit of precipitation there. And looking closer into Utah, around the Layton, Farmington, and Ogden area, we notice there is not much precipitation, so that won't affect us much, but there might be some wind today. Looking at the 5-day forecast, we see that today will be quite warm in comparison to normal. And there will be mostly clouds the rest of this week, but there will be some sun. For the most part, temperatures will range from upper 30s to mid 40s. Back to you, Trevor.
Thanks, Morgan. Well, the weather may not be cooperating, but spring sports are underway here at Weber State. Ryan Linford has all the updates on all the teams.
The men's tennis team falls to Sacramento State, who swept the singles match for a 6-1 victory at the Rio del Oro Racket Club. Dave Heinz managed to push a third set as he won his second set in the fourth match, yet the loss drops the Wildcats to a 1-4 overall, 0-1 in Big Sky play. The women's softball team came up short in their final game at the Troy Cox Classic. The team fell 6-4 to Stephen F. Austin on Sunday afternoon at the New Mexico State University softball complex. The Lady Cats travel to Cedar City to battle the Southern Utah T-Birds this coming Saturday and Sunday in a 3-game series. Go Wildcats!
Thanks, Ryan. With spring sports now in full sway, the track and field team winds down its season. The regular season ended at home over the weekend with the Wildcat Open. John Capel followed all the action at Stromberg Gym on Saturday.
They make it look simple. After all, it's only a pole and a rather lofty height. See, that wasn't so hard. Kylie Davies describes the simplicity of the sport.
And you kind of, when you leave the ground, you got to drive the pole into the air, and then you need to jump with it, and that'll load your pole up. And then it's kind of just a matter of, it's called moving your trail leg, but you got to whip your trail leg upside down, and once you do that, you're in a position to get over the bar. Yeah,
sure. The pole vaulters qualify at the 10-foot mark. Then the officials raise it 6 inches at a time. You get 3 attempts. After 11 feet, the crowd begins to thin. Elisa Isaacson is a natural. She cleared 12 feet this week.
Yes, girl!
Isaacson's grandmother came a far distance for the event.
Was and see Weber State, and it looks like a fine place.
Coach Dan Walker sees potential in his new team member.
12 feet was our school record until last week, and she moved it up to 12.6 1/4. And so she's already the best vaulter we've ever had, and she's only been in 5 meets for Weber State.
Well, I made 12.6 at the Montana State meet. I hit it on the top, but it stayed on, so I got lucky.
All 3 Weber State men did well in the high jump, leaping just over 6 foot 2 inches. And then there's the long jump. I'm John Capel, Weber State Sports.
This was a warm-up and qualifying meet for the Big Sky Conference Championships next week. For news today, Amiri Baraka, the great American poet, recited poems from his collection Thursday in the Wildcat Theater as part of Black History Month. Convocations sponsored a poetry reading which featured WSU English students chosen to read their own poems. Afterwards, Amiri Baraka, a former poet and professor at State University of New York, spoke. He focused on Black History Month and the background behind traditions. His advice to the audience was to understand life as Americans. We need to be cool in the face of adversity. Also, he said to read about people that made this country great so we can create our own history. His hope for us is to be great poets and great thinkers. Be sure to visit weber.edu for more upcoming events on campus. Thank you for joining us today for Weber State News and Spotlight on Sports. A couple of quick reminders before we go. Remember to go vote for Damian Lillard for the Bob Cousy Award. Just go to CouseyAward.com and follow the prompts there. Also remember to check out Beyond the Box Score every Friday at 9:45 as Zach Russell, Fifo Lavallee, and myself discuss everything you could possibly care about in sports. All of our shows, as always, can be found on WeberStateNews.org. I'm Trevor Amicone, and from all of us here at Weber State News and Spotlight on Sports, thanks for watching and have a great week.